Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chef Jamie Robertson here at Gaucho Dubai in DIFC. Today we're going to be cooking a dish from our new menu. It's a salmon ceviche with leche de tigre and pink grapefruit and fennel. Okay, so for the first dish today, we're going to do a salmon ceviche. Now the salmon, always best if the salmon is organic. You can always tell organic salmon from regular farm salmon because it's not as orange. The orange salmon has been fed with food pellets which contain the orange colour, which makes that flesh really bright orange. So this is organic salmon, so as you can see it's not as bright orange, it's slightly more pink. So that's the first part of the dish. So you take your salmon fillet, ideally what per person per portion should be around 70 to 80 grams. That's a rough starter size or a light lunch size. So the two key elements to this dish are the fennel and the pink grapefruit. So first of all, with the pink grapefruit, you don't want any of the skin or any of the rind. So we take off the top and the tail and set it flat on its base. And just take the knife on the outside and roll it all the way around until you've come all the way around the grapefruit. And ideally, you'll take as much of the white rind off as possible. If there's still a few tiny little bits and pieces on there, it doesn't really matter because we're going to segment the grapefruit now anyway. But to segment the grapefruit, you can see the little white lines that run all the way down. That is the individual segments. So we're going to take the segments out . And for one dish, 3 segments is going to be enough because the pink grapefruit is quite bitter and also very, very high in citric acid. So keep the center part of the grapefruit because we're going to use that again later. So once you've taken all the segments out, you'll be left with the center part, which later on we're going to squeeze so we remove all the juices. The fennel, ideally, if it has any of these little green tops, we can pull them off and we can save them for garnish later because they've got a lovely, lovely aniseed flavour. So for the fennel, we'll take off the stalks and we can just get rid of those. Take off the base because it's very woody, and the 2 outer leaves because again they're very woody and not very nice to eat. In the centre of the fennel, you can see here, this is the root or the heart of the fennel. We need to remove that. So just cutting down either side, it just pulls out easily enough. And on a mandolin, which is what we have in all the professional kitchens, you can go down very carefully, being very careful as it's very sharp. And you have very, very thin slices of fennel. The thinner the better. Alternatively, if you don't have a mandolin, you can always just take each individual part of the fennel and just slice them very finely on your chopping board with a knife. Each works in the same way, just depends whether you have the mandolin or the knife, but the key is keeping everything nice and thin. So those are the 2 main parts of the dish, the fennel and the grapefruit. But we're going to accent them with a little red onion, coriander and red jalapeno. Now again, depending on how spicy you like it, you can leave the seeds in or you can remove the seeds. For this dish we've removed the seeds because we want the key flavours to be the fennel. So the aniseed of the fennel, the acid in the pink grapefruit, and that sweetness and bitterness, and the salmon itself. So you still want to be able to taste the fish. So the first thing we do is take the fish into the bowl, and like we said, just squeeze over what's left of the grapefruit until you have a teaspoon or a dessert spoon's worth of liquid. Now what's going to happen is you'll see the salmon will start to change colour. And the whole idea with ceviche is it's raw, however the acid helps to cook the fish because it changes the pH level of the fish. So it starts to break down the fats, and the fish will change from that pink colour and it will start to become lighter. So to that we add our red onion, a little touch of the red jalapeno, the grapefruit segments, just break and squeeze in between your fingers, the shredded fennel, and lastly the coriander. Now because the grapefruit's very bitter, we need to add just a little bit of sweetness, and for that we're going to add a little bit of lime, which we have here. We just mixed it with a little bit of olive oil. So the lime and the olive oil together help to just give it a little bit of extra sweetness. The olive oil helps to bind everything together and just gives a better flavour. Salt and pepper. That last piece of grapefruit. And we just mix everything together. To serve. This is perfect as it is, but here in a restaurant we have something which we call leche de tigre, which is tiger's milk, which is very common in Latin America, especially Peru. And it's a combination of herbs, anything with spice, normally chili, and citrus juices. So we just pop a little bit of that down on the plate. Taking the salmon, the onions, the pink grapefruit, putting that on the plate, and then, like we said before, we kept all the fennel tops. They just give it a little bit of colour, a different kind of aniseed flavour, and make it look nice and pretty. And that's the first dish, salmon ceviche.